A Tanakh, a Hebrew Bible known as Codex Sassoon 1053, just sold in New York City at Sotheby's for $33,500,000. So what I'd like to do is explain to you why this Bible went for that much money. In order to understand this, we need to realize that at the end of the biblical period, and I'm talking about the Hebrew Bible, the Jewish Bible, at the end of this period, there was a great deal of instability with the texts. We know this from the Dead Sea Scrolls, for example, where there are hundreds and thousands of variants, meaning different ways to spell, write a word, a letter, or even a verse. We see even more variants in the Greek translation of the Bible, which is known as the Septuagint, and in other sources such as the Samaritan Torah. So basically there was a great deal of instability. By the end of the first millennium, a group of people known as the Masarites, the Balei HaMasorah in Hebrew, came about, and their goal was to stabilize the text. They did this by adding notes, by adding vowel markers, by adding cantillation to help you memorize it, by adding verse dividers, and so on and so forth. So they did a great deal, and the Tanakh that we know of today comes directly from these Masarites. In the 900s to about the 1100s, and this is a fuzzy dating, the Masarites created a number of master codices, master texts. And these were the great Bibles that had everything in them. Every single verse, every single letter, every single note, and every single cantillation mark, every single vowel. These were really impressive books. And there have been about 6, you can even add a few more if you would like, really important manuscripts that have been preserved to this day. And what that means is that these manuscripts have all of the information that the Masarites added to the text. They have all the notes, they have all the cantillation marks, they have everything that you would want in a Hebrew Bible. Now, of the 6 major manuscripts that I'm showing you here, each one adds some information that the others do not have. There's no single Bible that has everything. But when it comes to just awards, if we could play an award ceremony, the most important and the best Bible is, according to everyone, the Aleppo Codex. But it has problems, one of them being that about a third of it is missing. The award for most complete manuscript goes to the Leningrad Codex. It has the entire Tanakh from start to finish. And when it comes to an interesting award, meaning the only one of these 6 that is in private hands, that award goes to Sassoon 1053. And this is the Bible that was just sold at Sotheby's. All the other Bibles seen here are in a university or a museum. Now, this isn't the only reason Sassoon 1053 is really important, but here we go. It's the only one available. So of these 6 Bibles, there's only one that a person could actually purchase, and hence that's why it went for so much. But let's continue our story. So after these master codices in the 900s to the 1100s, came the derived codices of the next few centuries. These also contained a great deal of Masaritic material, notes, and cantillation, and so on and so forth. But the level of expertise had diminished, so these had many more problems than the ones that we had seen in the previous centuries. Let's fast forward to the 1500s, and we have the printing press, and the printers needed to decide which Tanakh they are going to be using. And unfortunately, the main codices that we had seen, those important master texts, they were either missing, no one knew where they were, or, for example, with the Aleppo Codex, even if one knew where it was locked away and one wasn't able to use it. So the printers had to use these derived codices, and they even combined a number of different codices to try and make a new Tanakh. So what this means is that for about 300 years, the Tanakh was a printed version of these inferior codices. All this changed in the 20th century when the original master codices were either found or were made less private. So scholars had access to these codices. And what happened is a number of new Tanakhs were printed in the last century. And each of these is based in one way or another on one of the master codices. And what that means when you think about today, what is the Tanakh? Even though you might have on your shelf right now a nice modern printing, it actually comes back to one or two of those codices. And even though I don't know of any specific version that is based entirely on Sassoon 1053, the one that just sold at Sotheby's, that doesn't mean that in the next few years someone might put out a new Tanakh, a new version based on Sassoon 1053. So that's it. Sassoon 1053 was just sold at Sotheby's, and now we see why it is so important. My hope is that whoever bought this will put it in a museum and even a really good library and allow access, or at least viewing. I was able to see it at Sotheby's, and it was a really special sight to see a book that old spread open in front of you, to be able to read the Tanakh from 1,000, 1,100 years ago.